Hello and welcome back to the U Up Podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Freed. So good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? How was the Big D, Dallas?
I was like, where did I go? I already forgot. It was great.
Yeah?
It's very fun. I got to see all my siblings. It's nice because like I go and I get like when they all lived like in New York on Long Island, we'd like see each other occasionally for like a dinner or something like that. But when I go, I mean, it sucks that you don't see them as often, but now when I go, I feel like I get like intense bonding.
Right? It looks like it.
Yeah, I get like the whole weekend. I get to like see what their day to day is like, you know,
Right.
like I see like the kids over like 2 or 3 days and we're like hanging out, we're going to bed and we're waking up. It's like I just feel like I know them on like a deeper level than when I just see them at like a dinner.
Right. No, dinner, they have their hair combed, you know, they're you know, hi, Jordana. And like you say hello. This is them waking up being like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes.
Oh shit, you want some cereal? You know, you can see who has the personality, who's got like, you know, who's the wild one, who's the funny one, who's the crazy one, you know, especially with the kids. They don't really show.
Total sense of their like personalities. And it's funny because now they're like, my niece is like 11. So she's like a real person.
Like, that's a human. Yeah.
Right. So it's just funny to like see them now as like these like little adults.
Do they know, does your niece 11 know about you? Like, is she like betches waving the flag? Does she think it's cool? Like,
well, they know that their mom like is also Dr. Naomi. So I think that there's a sense of like they know something's going on there, and then like they can, you know, if they Google their mom, like it'll come up. So
they Google?
Yeah, they have the internet. They're
the
like
kids
9,
Google?
10, 11. Yeah.
That's scary as shit. That
Right?
you can just Google at 9.
If they'd be listening to this podcast, they'd be like, Aunt JoJo, I don't know what she's been up to.
Oh my God. they have a lot,
Dating history.
There's a lot of things they could listen to, a lot of hours they can hear about your whole life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They could get like really deep personal knowledge about probably the non-PC things that I've been up to all these years.
I'm like having that moment where it's like hitting me, like all the things I've put on the. How could I ever have a child? You know, like I don't know. There's so much to read. Maybe there's too much to read at this point. But
I think it'll be good though, because they'll get like a nuanced take of like what your thought. It's almost like getting your diaries from like these periods of time, right?
Reading the letters that were sent to your grandpa at war or something that he sent back. You know, it's a different version of that.
Here's Dad's podcast from when he was 37 and single.
It's just me screaming, you know, boner, boner, boner. You know, like, oh,
that's my dad.
That's him.
But yeah, no, it was great. And then, you know, I have a few siblings there. A bunch of people came in, so it was nice to see everyone. It was my brother-in-law's 50th birthday.
Is that what it was? Because it looked like a big, you know, you get a taste from social media, and I was like, this looks like a big family fun event. It felt like you know, cookout. You know, it felt like, you know, we're in the backyard. There was a bouncy castle of some sort.
There was a bouncy castle. There was a pool. There was a band. There were bartenders. Like,
this is legit.
Yeah, it was like a legit, intense 50th birthday. It was like, and it was just so funny because it's planned by like mostly like his side of the family. So it's just funny to see the difference in like the way that events are put on between my family and his. Like, where my family, I told you, it's like I'm always like, Mike, eat before.
Right.
And this is just like a totally different experience. So way better hosting capabilities than
I love it. I love watching from afar. It felt like the whole crew. You guys look so much alike.
Yeah.
The whole family. You had a picture where it's like you look
strong genes from my mom's
unbelievable.
side,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. And it's funny even like my sister's kids like thinking I'm her for a second when they're like coming up behind me.
Right.
I'm like,
then they
excuse
get super
me.
embarrassed.
10 years 10 years younger than me.
Right. Dickhead.
Right.
I'm 9.
The worst is when people ask who's older.
Hey, my brother likes to do that. Who do you think's older? And I'm like, I don't need to invite their opinion on what we look like right now.
I've done that before, and my lesson is don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
Right. You say that all the time.
Yes.
Hurting your own feelings, or you say it.
That's
similar
basically,
vein.
yeah. I mean, I think that happens. Like, you ask a question, you think you're being fun, but it's, you know, opening the bag.
I don't want to get into anyone else's creative writing project about me.
Yes.
Like, I
want to know as little as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd rather lead them through that conversation than have them on their own. But
Agreed.
well,
How was your Memorial Day weekend?
It was a city. It was.
You went to tell them about your big reunion.
It's embarrassing to even say.
Why?
Like I went to my high school when I was a senior. We won the state lacrosse championship. Okay. I was on the team. I was mediocre. Would be kind to myself as a lacrosse player.
I mean, you made it to states,
right? And
you're saying you didn't make it there because of you.
I don't think I was, the
star of the team.
Star. I was definitely not the star. Okay. And so again, they honored us, quote unquote, at halftime of senior night at Needham High.
Okay.
And so my friend was the star, my good friend.
Well, now he's like a professional person, right?
No, he hangs out at the school and plays lacrosse with the kids. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, he's a professional, but he was like an All-American captain of the team. And I'm on this big group chat with like the whole team with numbers I don't recognize. And they're like, we're doing this like thing in Needham. And I'm like, there's no way I'm fucking going. And then he's like, you gotta go. It's going to be hilarious. And he's trying to get me involved. And he's like, just come. And I go, okay. He goes, it will be funny. And so I fly to Boston and he and I fixed him up with his wife.
Oh, okay. How long ago?
They have 3 kids now. So,
oh my God.
She and I were friends from college and he and I are friends from high school.
Oh, that's so funny.
In New York City, I think we were at, what's the bar? Bourbon Street up on the Upper West.
Was he like, why don't you want her for yourself?
No,
because I feel like that's like
I dated, my college girlfriend was her friend in the sorority.
Oh, okay. So that's how you knew her, right?
That's how I know her. It's not like we met in an elevator.
If you're single and you're setting someone up, I can imagine, I would always imagine it'd be like, why are you setting me up with why wouldn't you take this person?
Well, the guy set up, right? The guy set up is different than I think the fee. This version of setting up was like he's like, who's that? And I'm like, oh, you two should.
Okay.
Again, someone could refute my claim of the setup, but
I say that they just happened to meet.
Well, they
whatever.
didn't. If I didn't exist, I don't think they find each other.
Okay.
But it was like, oh yeah, here's her number.
You can
whatever.
take credit.
I'm taking
3
kids.
You're like,
I've had 3 kids.
I've been telling this story for years, so the credit train has run.
I think for a time she tried to, do that thing, and I was like,
I'm on the Our Story page.
Yeah, get me in there. So, and they live in, the suburbs of Massachusetts. So we took a boat of the ferry.
Oh, wow.
Right. You can take a ferry home from work. So we get on the boat and we go to his house and his mom and dad are there. It's like they drove us to the game.
So funny.
So we're in the back seat. It's like high school all over again. And then I think everyone would have the same thing that I have where I'm like, you don't want to be the guy who who's glossing up their own high school memory. That's why I'm like, it's embarrassing to say, we were on the state lacrosse championship. It's a very nice memory for me, but it's not like I'm walking around and then people go, you, it gets insulting. You played? You lacrosse? I took you more for a hot dog eating champion. They immediately are, and I'm like, okay. My brother was an amazing lacrosse player.
Yeah.
So I try to push it on to him. He's great. I suck. I'm horrible. And then you go to high school and you're like, everyone had that same thing where you're like, it was funny. There was one guy on the team who I haven't seen in 20 years, and I heard him talking to someone else. We're all just milling around the field, and he goes to someone else. He goes, "Yeah, I'm not just here for this." And I go, "No, you are here for this. We're all."
What was he trying to pretend that he wasn't? That he was here for?
It was something else.
He was trying to be too cool.
A little. He was like, it was hilarious, and I called him out right away. I was like, "No, you flew across the country for this."
Own it.
You like high school too much.
I did. I did think it was when I heard that you were doing this, I did think it was very normie for you.
Normie? Yes. I'm not the superstar I claim to be.
No, I just think you usually are working every night.
Right.
You don't have when I think of you, I don't think of you doing typical
right,
typical average 38-year-old guy things. I would say
you're right, and that was kind of the moment where I realized it. I love my childhood. I love my family. Like I think like a lot of people think you go into comedies because like you hated everything.
Right.
You know, like you have to have this like story, and that kind of brings us our subject. I do kind of relate this to the subject of what we wanted to talk about, but I don't feel the need to like, I think I am speaking from a normal guy's perspective, but I do have that thing where I'm like, I'd rather do show. And I took the night off. I was like, let's dive in.
I hope so. You weren't like trying to find like an empty space in the cafeteria to get mic'd up.
Wouldn't that be the saddest? I need.
You need this.
Nightly attention. Yeah. Well, then there's people coming up to you. So how's the comedy thing? And yeah, I would say I'm so happy I went. Like I really am happy I went. But those events, because and you know, my friend who was like, come. He knew it was going to be awkward and hilarious, but he was like, that's why you go. You know, like I think like.
That's why you go to any reunion of any sort ever. You're not going like, oh, like I need this.
That's who you don't want to be.
Right. Yeah. That's the fear.
That's the fear, is that you look like that. And no one gives a fuck about what I look like. I'm just saying that's your, you know, and I was comparing it to like a massage that, you know, that where they like get into the knots, like an uncomfortable massage. You're like, it hurts, but I know this will be good in the long run.
Right.
Because it was so good to see everybody like, and I was the only one single with no kids.
The rest of them had
married kids.
Anyone divorced?
None. Not that I spoke to. None that I spoke to.
None that were talking about it if they were. Okay.
And I was like, and I go, you all have kids. And I did the moment sad single person thing where I go, I can't believe everyone has kids but me. Like I said that and I was like, oh, look what I fucking sound like. And I was like, I can't believe it. And they're like, what do you can't believe? We're 38. Right? Like what is hard? We can't believe you are sitting there. And, you know, they have the thing, we wish we'd rather be doing what you're doing. And I'm like, I kind of like, I was looking at them, I'm like, this all seems so comfy, cozy, simple.
So
in a non-pity way, I believe that is a nice thing.
Right.
And so then we went to the Village Club. My Needham used to be a dry town. So they had these like this club.
Like the Prohibition kind of thing?
It's like Massachusetts blue laws, like where like, you know, you can't have a happy hour. Like they have all these stupid fucking laws. And
no brunch specials.
Right.
No bottomless brunch.
No bottomless brunch. And so Needham used to be a dry town. It's not anymore, I don't think. And they had the Village Club. I'd have never even been. It's Needham's Soho House.
Oh, wow.
It's like, and it's in the basement of like a church-looking place. Okay. And I guess they had you had to be under the idea of a social club so that you could serve alcohol to your members.
Right.
And it wasn't, and so we went there and drank and held the trophy from 20 years ago. And then I slept at my friend's place, and to kind of bring it back around to like being around a family. Yeah. They got 3 boys. And 3 boys, I think they're 6 and under. 6, 4, and 2.
They must be stressed.
I mean, it is.
Do they seem stressed?
They seem to be handling it great. I don't know. They're animals. At 6 a.m. you hear, and it's the Flintstones. You just hear these feet running around. I put up a video. It's on my highlights, like of the whole Needham experience. And then at the end, it's me waking up like hungover. 6 a.m. here, because they have like, it's an old New England home with like wood floors. Yeah. And then I fall back asleep. I'm like, oh, these fucking kids. And then why'd I make these kids? Why'd I introduce these 2? Right. You know? And then at 7 a.m.
I'm your other father.
Right. Well, I said, you know, I didn't bring a gift except your life.
Right. You're welcome.
So, you're welcome. So at 7 a.m., I hear one of the kids just go, ah! Like he was a rooster waking us up. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm up. And so I come downstairs. It was so funny. Like, you know, it's Matt and Kristen are in the kitchen, the parents. And the 3 boys are just in their PJs on the couch. Like they got books reading. And I just go, who is screaming? And I just go.
Were they scared of you?
They all like look up, and I just
should have pretended you were a cop.
At the front door, just knocking. I go, who is screaming? And then they all like look up, and I just go, ah! And then all 3 of them go, ah! And we're just 4 people screaming at 7:15 in the morning, and you just see like my friends just in the corner, like, why would you? What
Why
are you doing to
this?
us?
Right.
What are you, so it was.
But they have to deal with this every day.
Thank God I got to leave.
Right. Well, I think
it was wonderful.
But I think that's the interesting. I mean, to go back to what you were saying about being like the single childless one there, like, because I know how that. I feel like as a woman that might feel different. But I'm saying, did you feel any like? Did you feel like upset, or were you kind of like, this is just interesting?
I've been depressed a little bit lately. Just in general, since coming back from Europe, Europe was like a nice distraction, but like a little bit, like even a long weekend in the city, people love a long weekend in the city. They go, oh, there's no one here. Everyone, that's all you talk about. When you stay in the city is all you talk about.
Have to. This does fucking suck that we didn't go anywhere.
Beach house, not even a lake house.
I would always be a little happy when I stayed in the city for those holiday weekends. If it was like raining, I'd be like, I didn't pay for a house anywhere anyway. So I'm, thank God.
Who wants a beach on a rainy day?
Right.
Yeah.
Like the worst kind of asshole.
Worst. The worst. It's not good enough that I'm unhappy, but that everyone else I know is unhappy
now
too.
Now you feel comforted.
Right.
Yeah.
And, there was a moment of like, I think like I did have a couple thoughts of like, what have I been doing? Like these people, the last 20 years, they have kids, they've been doing like actual productive things.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call what you're doing not productive. It's it's a personal life production versus like a professional life production.
Yeah, I guess it's not, but it's not like they didn't go to work every day. You do it. I guess that's where, if I was to go to the negative thoughts in my brain from it, it wasn't about there was no moment where I looked at what life was going on for all these people going, thank God I dodged that bullet. I didn't have that thought.
That's good. Because you do say sometimes you feel like if you talk to married friends that you kind of do walk away feeling like this seems miserable.
Yeah, I've said that before.
Yeah.
I guess, none of that really. I guess that feeling always comes from like maybe overhearing a conversation. I'm like, am I ready for that type of,
reality?
Right. Because I can live in fantasy land. New York is a little bit of fantasy land. The city is fantasy.
Yeah, everyone's like young and single and out and about.
Yeah. Right. It's not weird to be 38 and childless.
Right.
Here.
If you moved back to Needham as yourself right now, I think that would feel very different in your current state.
Right. Yeah, it would be bizarre. But here you can live in this, and it's probably when women write in like all these men or they just want to be out and about, and it's like because there's no social pressure here for a guy even at 38. I'm not like, I do have moments now more than before of like, what am I the old man at the party? But you don't have that social pressure of like, well, everyone's gone. There's nothing to do. You better find someone and, find a chair to sit in.
Whereas if you were still living in your hometown, that might be the case.
That would absolutely be the case.
Who would you be going on dates with in your hometown?
Nobody. Right, I'd have to travel.
You'd have to be that person on the apps.
Like, I'm an hour away. Not bad.
Yeah. I work in Boston.
Right. Right. I mean, it was really nice. I gotta say, but this is all to say, we're coming to Boston too.
Oh yeah, we're coming to Boston.
Philadelphia, if you're out there, we got a show this week, right?
Yeah. Did we find out about?
People are confused if they're standing.
A few clarifications. Let's start off with the Philly show.
Right, go. Philly, you're not going to be standing.
It's not a standing show.
No, there's seats. Okay,
yes.
So
if that was your fear before you were getting the tickets. Buy a ticket and sit the fuck down.
Yeah, you're gonna sit. Well, I'll fucking get on all fours. You can sit on my back if you can't sit, because that's fucking insane that anyone would be confused. You get these messages as if I'm Ticketmaster, and I'm like, and you're not. You're gonna sit. I don't know why this is even a discussion. I can't believe the website would even hint at a standing room situation.
Everyone has a seat.
You're gonna get
buying a ticket. You're gonna get a seat. So if that was your hesitation, Philly, everyone's like, that's not why we're not coming.
Right.
But if that happened to be your hesitation, get it.
Yeah, get your tickets and assemble the group chat.
Yes. Another thing, upon reading the reviews, we didn't miss a benefits episode this month. So a lot of people have been confused about like why there's no benefits episode on the last Monday in May. And the reason is we do 2 a month.
Right.
There are 5 Mondays in May.
Oh, I haven't seen
So there's no, someone left a review about that, very angry. I got a DM. I was like, there's 2 a month. We're delivering what we told you.
That was always the promise.
There's 5 Mondays in May. Usually there's not 5 Mondays. So there's going to be a benefits episode on Monday. So everyone relax. Or it will already have been out by the time you hear this.
I mean, if you're really that quick to go, they're stealing the money.
And I'm kind of impressed by it because I'm like, people are so addicted to these benefits episodes. There's like, where the fuck is the episode?
It's
like
coming.
As soon as they don't see it, they're like, it's like someone who's like fiending for drugs. So
the benefits episodes are good. I mean,
I'm impressed.
The response I get to those, and I'm sure you do too, are like wild. Like,
nice.
It's so nice. I'm going to Long Beach. What's the date of this coming out?
Oh yeah, my mother-in-law said she saw you on the website.
Yes.
And
the town that Jordana wants to crush.
Mike says I need to cool it with that.
The real estate tycoon.
Yeah.
The monopoly woman.
He's like, could you not just like keep repeating that you want to destroy the town that my parents have decided to retire to? Like, could you not?
Yeah. It's so funny
publicly and constant.
You really, because whenever you brought it up, I think I encourage it a little bit because I'm like, you do have a good point.
Thank you.
I do agree with you. Like, there's this town that's closer than Montauk that has the ability to be something.
Yeah, it's right on the like the whole town is right on the beach. It's closer to the city. I think it has so much potential.
But they don't want you in there because they would price out the people who are there. End up being.
No, I understand. It's
it's so funny
like
because
Mr. Burns.
Yeah, Mr. Burns. But it's funny because I understand exactly what having been there.
Right.
I know exactly. I totally get it. There should be a Ritz-Carlton here. So I'm going to be in Long Beach.
Great.
If they would like to come out.
So my mother-in-law saw you on the website, and then when I saw her the other day, and she was like telling me how when she was clicking it took you to a different comedian's like website when she clicked your name.
Oh no!
And it was I was like, I'm gonna relay. I forgot to relay it to you. I was like, I'll relay. I'm like, I can't fix that problem, but I'll relay it to him.
It's at a bar, but they've set up a stage, and it's a beachside town. It's like. I'll talk to IT.
Okay. She wanted to make sure people could get their tickets to the Long Beach show.
Go through my website. Okay, the link is up there.
JaredFreed.com.
That's right. It's the one stand-up show I'm doing outside of the city. I've been in the city, doing a lot of spots. I will say this about the new material. It is very family relatable. Okay. It's going to be very family oriented. I've been getting
good for the whole family.
Fun for the whole family. I've been getting like.
Is it clean?
Not cleanish. It's
fun for the whole dirty family.
Right. I wouldn't be embarrassed to sit next to my grandmother watching it.
Okay, that to me is clean.
You will feel comfortable next to any family member. I will say that so far with what I've talked about.
Okay.
There's one joke that people get so fucking weird. It's not meant to be sexual, but they make it. See if you can figure it out.
Listen to find out. So, I need to come to a new show. I'm going to come in the city.
Hold on. I'm going to be doing a theater on Long Island.
Ooh, when?
It's I asked for the date.
Is it the Paramount?
Yes.
Nice.
Because
I know exactly where that is. It's like a
cool section.
When is the show?
I think it's going to be the fall.
Amazing.
But by then I should have this hour of just family.
You're going to kill it there.
I'm so excited because I think like what I'm talking about right now is like so.
Huntington, New York.
Right. And I if the link isn't out yet, it will be out. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. There's 5 Mondays in May.
Yeah.
Because now I'm getting into that like. As a stand-up, there's like the clubs, and then do you want to do a theater if you can get enough, if you have enough of a following? I'm a tweener, and I like a club. I like working on material in a club. I like the awkwardness of it. I like the wait staff. But I took a chance. They were like, "Do you want to do this Long Island?" Because it's a big venue.
No, I've seen a lot. They have like a lot of really like legit performances there.
My friend Kevin James, was there.
You go. Right, it's good enough for Kevin James.
It's good enough for me. So.
Big theater.
Big theater.
Yeah.
So if you're on Long Island, like that's a family.
I'll be there.
Bring
It's in
that's
the
where
fall,
you should
I'll
come.
be- You're like, we don't need you in the city anymore. I
need
switch
numbers
the demo.
out on Long
Yes.
Island. So that's gonna happen soon. But amongst other dates, but Philadelphia, I'm talking to you.
Philly, get your tickets. Boston, New York, DC. DC is going to be sold out for sure.
Right.
So get your tickets. And if you want to come on stage with us, which was always an amazing time,
The best.
submit your dating app makeovers, submit your texts for us to interpret called the deal reveals, write the subject of the city you're coming to. And I promise you guys, it is so fun to come on stage. And if you're a guy with a dating app makeover, you should also definitely submit because you are going to kill it.
I think they bat 1,000. They always have their DMs filled. And you're going to get made fun of, like it's always easier the guy comes on stage because we can
go harder.
We can go a little harder.
Yes.
So send that in, Betches, or you I just had a brain fart.
UUP at Betches.com. UUP at Betches.com.
And
send it in.
you're talking about, we were going to jump right in.
Yes. Now it's 26 minutes in.
We might as well
I think we can quickly discuss the fact that eHarmony has unveiled 2 new love languages.
That's how I know love languages is bullshit.
Right. Now they're adding
gotta freshen
more.
them up.
It's like,
soon it's going to be like, I like when people breathe.
I mean, I wonder how the guy who invented these is feeling. Like, no, you're not. Because there is a guy
Is there?
who was like, there's a book that's called The 5 Love Languages that like the guy made them up. I wonder how he feels about eHarmony.
It was by a man?
Yeah. He's like religious.
I have just eye rolled so hard. My eyes may never
Do you
stop
feel betrayed?
rolling. I feel a little betrayed. I think this is the dumbest fucking thing.
It's a I don't think it's that dumb. I think that there's many merits to it. I think people have abused it, and that's why you think it's dumb.
Well, fair.
People have appropriated it.
Right, I agree with that.
I'm
but
sorry, that's the wrong word.
I don't think that's the wrong word. Or they've just
I
taken.
feel like that's more for like cultures.
The word exists.
I guess. All right. Well, if
a
I'm
word in
wrong,
the
correct
dictionary.
me. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I would say my feeling on it is it's always looking back. Like, I don't know. I just have never met a guy. None of my friends have ever been like, my love languages are not being fulfilled. Like, I don't know. I always seem to find that the love language.
But I mean, they're not using those terms, but they might be like, I feel like you never like, it's annoying that you didn't take care of this thing.
Well,
right? You didn't pick up the dry cleaning. That's annoying.
Sure, that's having a talk about the dry cleaning.
But that's an act of service.
Well, but that doesn't mean every got me. But then to make it to me when you were like,
guys might be like, oh, like you don't have sex with me anymore. That's also
physical touch.
Yeah.
To me, these are all ways to sound more interesting than you are. To me, I think people attach themselves to a love language to give themselves permission to have feelings.
Okay.
Like they almost go, well, instead of like, you never get the dry cleaning, which seems frivolous and small, you go, I like an act of service. And now it's like, now it's something you got them. because you have offended this, the great tablets of me where it's etched in stone that I'm an active service person. I guess now that I'm saying that out loud, like I can understand why a therapist would suggest this to warn you, like, this is a bigger deal than you're not taking seriously the laundry.
Yeah. I think that if they're like anything else, if it's done correctly, I think they are helpful. But
right.
eHarmony took the liberty of adding a couple of new ones, which I think are kind of bullshit. Shared experiences, which focuses on adventuring and expanding yourself with someone.
Sounds like that helps eHarmony more than anyone.
And emotional security, feeling emotionally seen and taken care of. I mean, I think that's all of it. One's like, I don't value feeling
that's the
emotionally seen and taken care of. There are people who are like, I don't really care if you make the bed or not. Right.
Right.
But there are not people, I think, who are like, that's why I think these are kind of bullshit, because it's like, I don't think that there are people who are like, I don't care about feeling emotionally seen and taken care of.
Right. You can't have life is gravity. It has to have both sides of it. Also, I don't think anyone could get away with like, yeah, I just do my own thing.
Right. I don't care about shared experiences. Right. I plan on experiencing everything alone.
Right. You do your trip, I'll do mine. That would be a quirky marriage.
Yeah.
Not like a to go in saying that you're just like, I just don't want to Like
I
you
just don't
can't
want to see you that much. Right.
You can't 10 years into a marriage be like, well, I just found out my love language is alone things.
Is not shared experiences.
Right.
Right.
So you have fun at Disney World with the kids.
Incompatible.
I'll be here watching the baseball game. I don't know. There's no.
Well, this is like kind of like I feel like the worst. What's the word? Like they're taking advantage of the terms to try to create something.
I agree with that, and I wrote this down before. I was like, why don't we have hate languages?
Good call.
That would be more fun. Like,
this is how I like to get revenge. Right.
Right. Yeah. Like I wrote down claiming there's too much of something. That's a hate. Like I would hate anyone who does that.
Like what?
Like if they walk in, they're like, too much food. I'd be like, okay, never speak to me again. That's not saying you're tired.
You're never. What if someone's like, we ordered too much? You hate that person?
I hate that person.
That's me.
You say that?
Sometimes there's someone who takes the lead in ordering and they're like ordering an excessive amount of food. And then I feel bad that there's so much extra food there and we're also paying for it. So I do think sometimes it's like we over ordered and like it's so wasteful.
That specific situation, I would understand. Like, what are you doing? Let's take one off. If you're at Thanksgiving and you say out loud at Thanksgiving, there's too much.
Yeah.
You're a horrible person. I would kick you. I would lead you out of my Thanksgiving.
Okay, now I know if I'm ever invited to your Thanksgiving, what not to say.
I don't have live, love, laugh on the wall.
Okay.
I have shut up and eat.
Okay.
And there's never too much food.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be my.
All right, what's the next one?
I had a few others, but maybe them. Right. Suntan lotion people.
Or thing.
Like they always tell you about putting on suntan lotion. But we know.
Okay.
You know, and my great grandfather had this, had that. They always reference like someone dying, and you go, I understand. The sun is bad for me. Like we know that.
Well, it's like put sunscreen on yourself and let everyone. Unless it's like your child, where you could be like, you need to put on sunscreen. Put your own sunscreen.
You didn't put on sunscreen? Yeah. I don't give I want to fucking die. Mm-hmm. Okay? Like I don't know. They always make they always throw it always just feels like they're elevating themselves above the group.
Well, you know,
this holier than thou sunscreen.
What I now get is because I proclaim my love for the sun so often. Anytime I am putting on sunscreen, everyone feels like they need to comment on it. Like, sunscreen. Like, I didn't expect that from you.
That would annoy me.
It's very irritating. I get it quite frequently.
That's the thing. Keep your sunscreen to yourself. How about that?
Sunscreen should be the new taboo topic instead of politics.
Yes. I'm in on that. Asking if I went to a museum on vacation. No.
That was a very funny tweet you had or something like that. Like you said something about people suggesting museum and then you have to like pretend like you're thinking about going.
That's when
that was very funny.
That's when I'm my best acting. Oh, the Uffizi. Really?
Sometimes I'll even like write it down in my notes app.
Yeah, let me write that down. I'm writing down.
What's it called? How do you spell it?
Yeah. I've done that.
You've done it too, right?
Yeah,
no intention of doing that.
I'm not going to a museum to read a plaque while I count to 10. Like I said, anytime I've gone, there's a way.
You've never been to a museum?
I've gone, you go to the ones you have to go to, but I sit there 1, 2 in front of the plaque to look like I'm reading.
Okay.
It's too much. It's too much.
Well, here's the thing about a museum recommendation for you is if someone's recommending that to you, they don't really know you.
Right.
It's not like you can't recommend. It's more like what I loved about that tweet. It's more like a recommendation for something that someone is passionate about that it's not for you and you're never going to do. But it's more awkward to be like, oh, that's not my thing. I'm not doing that thing you just said was like the most incredible thing to do in Italy.
You're so excited.
No intention of that.
No intention.
That's why that's why I'm like, how do you spell it? Oh, I'll definitely look into that.
Right. It's so much harder to go, I'm not a museum person. That's hard to admit.
That's awkward.
It's awkward. Yeah. I like stupid things.
Right.
I like eating and beach.
What's the best place to get drunk in Stockholm?
Right.
That's all I care about. Right. All right, let's read our first email. You ready?
Let's jump right in.
Okay.
Let's get into it. If you have museum suggestions, don't send them here.
Okay. Hello, J&J. Jared, seeing you in Amsterdam was so fun. Hope you did get to eat the capsulon?
I didn't know what this meant. I don't remember this inside joke that I'm a part of.
What is a capsalon?
Yeah,
Candace, what's a capsalon?
Candace is here.
It's a layer of French fries placed in a disposable metal takeaway, topped with doner,
Like a kebab?
covered with slices of Gouda cheese, and heated in an oven until the cheese melts. It's very specific.
It sounds like it's going to give me diarrhea for the rest of my life. Right.
No offense to whatever.
No, yeah. I love
to
the
the sweet to the what is it? Amsterdam, the Dutch,
Nethers-
the Dutch,
the Dutch,
the
yeah.
Dutch.
They're Dutch.
Yes.
Well, I did have the fries at a place that was like TikTok famous, and it was very good. It was
Okay.
a very. It was called something. It had a literal rope, like it was a nightclub.
Did you go to the Anne Frank Museum? Anne Frank's house?
Missed it.
Missed it.
No, I walked by it. That sounds so horrible as a Jew. I will say, this is when I realized I was like so bad at museums. I went to Berlin and I went to the Berlin Wall, and they have this like free museum. You can walk in behind the wall, and it just talks about how the Nazis came into power. It's the whole history. It was way harder for me to read than I thought it would have been for me.
Okay.
Like it's so, and I can't
That's
imagine.
good.
It's good.
In
I was
touch
like,
with your emotions.
I'm in
Right,
touch.
yeah.
But I did at one point think to myself, enough already. And I was just thinking, like, of all my Jewish ancestors, they must have said that so many fucking times. Enough already. We get it. You don't like us.
Right.
You know, like,
Yeah.
because I was in that museum just being like,
It's a lot.
it kept going. I was
Yeah.
like, my God, they really fucking...
Hated us.
This was I'm sitting there like, what is going? And I had to like, there was a point where I did look up my family's name. There's a place you can look up names. Nothing came up.
Are you German?
No, because they had like who was taken away and who was put in the can, and you're like, oh my God. Like it feels like a weight, you know, to read through all those things.
No, I totally get that. Yeah.
And-
you know, my aunt was born in Nazi Germany.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy.
What is that like in the country? Like, was she hidden at birth? Like,
Yeah, kind of. Like she's like 10 years older than my dad, so she's like 80 years old now. But she was like born in like the 40s in Nazi Germany, and then they like somehow got a longer story, but escaped that thing. But it's just kind of crazy because she's not like my grandma. She's like
right.
my aunt. It's
I
very
know.
weird.
I mean, it is I don't know. I don't think of myself. I'm not like one of those people like my stone heart. Like I cry.
Right.
But there was a part when I was in where was I? Copenhagen. I will say, here's my suggestion if you go to Europe and you're not a museum person, food tours. Okay.
that lightened up right quick.
Right.
Okay?
Well, the food tour is great because it's always like led by this like kind of theater kid.
Yeah.
Who's like got pep and they know the town and they bring you the food places. Like I'll say the food tours I went on were Dublin and Copenhagen. Not exactly known for their food, which was kind of made it even more interesting.
Was the food good? Right. I kind of agree. You don't really need to go on a food tour though in Italy. It's like anywhere you go, it's just going to be really great.
It's like a good vessel into history of the town.
Mm-hmm.
And you're walking because you walk from restaurant to restaurant. But there was this one moment, not to make this the whole, Holocaust time.
Story time.
Story time.
Okay.
Fun Holocaust segment on the dating podcast I listen to. She tells a story about Copenhagen's like commitment to the Jewish
saving
people,
the Jews,
to saving the Jews,
Yeah.
and they show the temple that was in the town square, and she did like a 15-minute story about all this stuff. I don't even remember the story, but I was sitting there the whole time just trying not to cry.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I can't be on this. I'm alone on a food tour with a bunch of like parents.
Right.
I'm like, this like,
I love that.
I couldn't,
I
I'm
think
like,
that's so nice.
I could feel myself.
You really felt it.
I felt it, but I had to look away. I had to stop listening. It was so nice. These people that like put their lives on and helped, and she goes into I didn't even know how. I was like, how do you know this story? She knew this whole, it was.
Did she work there?
Yeah, but I don't know why we had to stop. We're like eating. She's like, it's the best chocolate, and we're going to get the best candy. And then here's the Jewish temple. Let me do 15 minutes on how we save the Jew. And you're like, I was so.
It sounds like it worked.
It worked.
Anyway, let's jump right back in.
We'll jump right back in. The fries in Amsterdam were delicious.
Yes, which is not the point of the email, but we'll get to it. Okay, to the email. The emailer almost knew that we were going to have a tangent on this because their next line is to the email. One of my best friends, 28 male, matched with a girl on Bumble that he was excited about. He told me that this new match has asked him to have a phone call before meeting and asked me, 29 female, if this is normal female dating behavior. While this seemed odd to me, I thought this was a good idea as you can get a little more you can get a little bit more chemistry before the date and also weed out complete weirdos, which is important for safety reasons.
Again, elevating it to give herself permission. You're allowed to. First of all, there might be a podcast you could suggest to this guy who seems to have trouble understanding the dating world.
Just a tad.
A tad. You Up podcast might help this guy out. But it is funny that's another thing. Like, you don't have to make it for safety reasons. I agree with her.
Yeah. But you could just do it because you don't want to waste any time.
I want to talk to the guy on the phone.
Yeah.
Cool.
See if he's normal before I wash my hair.
Right.
That would be my mindset. She asked very pointed questions about the type of TV shows he watches, his favorite movies, etc., and said that the call felt like an interview. She specifically asked him to rate some TV shows on a 1 to 10 scale.
I'm looking at the list. Succession. What do you got? 1 through 10. Yeah.
And then he's like grading it. Yeah.
Right.
He fill out the Scantron that was mailed to you. He found that odd, but was still keen on a date. To both of our surprise, he got a rejection message with a very specific reasons. One I've never seen before. See screenshot attached. So this is her. I'm going to read it because her male friend got rejected by a woman and said this.
And this is the woman's post-call text.
Yes. Hey, so I've given it some thought, and I'm going to be very honest, but I don't really think we're compatible. A big part of my personality and communication skills relies on being able to make references to popular things most people have watched. I can't help but feel like your current level of popular culture exposure is going to make that fairly difficult for me and require giving communication a lot more thought than I'm used to, as I prefer it to feel natural and effortless. I'm really sorry, and I do hope you find what you're looking for. You seem like a very good egg. X. And then she says, honestly, the most disappointing thing for me is that you rate Parks and Rec over Peep Show. I don't know what that is. That's a very big yikes for me.
Okay.
Crazy person.
Right.
My friend replied, not in the screenshots, that this is not a good measure. And if she cares so much about a show, maybe they should watch it together. Maybe it's important to note that these two are based in a town in the UK and the girl is from Croatia and studying in the said town. My question is, what do you think of this pre-first date screening approach where you judge your compatibility via your interests and hobbies? Also, does not having enough pop culture reference points mean that you can't have good communication? I can imagine someone not liking you and telling you, sorry, I didn't find good chemistry here. But this person gave my friend an entire report card on his pop culture knowledge with a big F on it. Curious to know what you think. Thanks. Help me help a friend out.
So I like this email because it's a very extreme. It's a fun for fodder, but it does represent something that's relatable if you're in the dating world.
Yeah.
Like, she is afraid, this person. I think that your friend dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
You know, your friend that...
Did you ever write something like this?
No.
What if they said they hated Chinese food on Sundays?
And for that reason, I am out. No.
It's a big part of my life. I have to...
I have something that's actually similar to this.
Okay.
Matched with someone on an app, and we went to texting. We got like past the app to texting.
Okay.
And I was traveling somewhere.
It's first base these days. Right.
I mean, big time. And for me, that's more than the first base I've been getting. And that is if you want to You Up with benefits, I already know what I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
That
and
is
then it'll be out by, oh no, it won't be out yet, but it's coming out.
Join You Up with benefits. You want to hear more on that. I would say I do this. Like, I am this woman, but without the insane text.
Being like hypercritical.
It's like hypercritical and also getting ahead. Like, when you're on a date, you know, this is why meeting in person is better. The dating app,
right.
And I talk about this on the stand-up special, which will come out at some point whenever, you know, so, but this idea of like, you get on these apps, it's a menu of a person and you judge the menu. And this person was like, let's get on, this person is so afraid of 2 months from now, finding out these other things that they haven't found out yet, that they won't even go on the first date.
Right.
You know, and so they're in their own way. This person who took the call, the woman who wrote you that you didn't know pop culture enough because I might have to work harder to talk to you, that's just called a mismatch and not a great date. And they were looking for extreme reasons to be able to turn you down. Like,
right.
But
I think that's like, why not just say, I just didn't feel like we were compatible?
Again,
seems crazy to be like giving
it's
this
me,
specific example.
because we all need permission to have feelings.
Right. Oh,
Like
so you're saying it's just like the thing where she's like, because it's so that you can, for safety reasons. This
Right.
is her for safety reasons.
Exactly. Like I can't complain about being single, you know,
Right.
and tell people, well, they didn't have good show things. You have to make it more important. You know, you have to go, well, how could I speak to someone?
It's about who you are as a person.
Right. And so, but I've done versions of what she's doing. So I match with this girl, we get the phone numbers, and somehow it comes out, I'm traveling. And I'm like, I'm traveling Delta. You know, and I make a lot of jokes about how I'm Delta Diamond Medallion. And
Delta or die.
Delta or die. And this girl writes me back, oh, I just go on it, whatever's the cheapest. Okay. I don't know why she writes me back. And we're
That's
having
what most people do. That is what most people do. I
think so too, especially if you don't travel a lot. But I was like, the points, and you know, there is. I go if you fly a lot. So we're having this discussion.
Okay, you weren't like fuck you and unmatched.
No,
okay,
well, no.
Fuck. Okay.
But it is weird. It's sad. It's true because I go, well, the points. You know, we're having this fun flirty talk about Delta, which happens sometimes in a dating app world. And I go, well, the points and like, you know, it's nice to like board for like if you fly a lot.
It's the perks, yeah.
The perks actually make a hard thing a little bit easier.
Okay.
Was kind of the point. And she was like, I don't get it. And I was like, we can't go on a date. Like I was just like,
really?
I'm out. I am so out. I wonder if I could find this conversation because
you know, most people do that though.
Doing it is different than in the way you defend it.
Well, why would they not defend it if that is what they do?
You can't see. I'm trying to find. You can't see that. Like, I get it's what you do, but like, I need them to just go. No, I can understand why you would do it.
Okay,
like, you know, like in the same way I'm saying to you, I can understand why someone would get the cheapest. Like, if someone's like, the Spirit flight is $50 and the next flight is $250. I would make fun of them for flying Spirit, but I would also go, $50 is $50. Mm-hmm. Take the chance,
right.
Take the swing of the bat, but you might not do it twice, but that's a conversation. So I do a version of this. So
that's why it didn't work out with this girl.
Didn't even go out. I stopped.
Because of that.
Stop texting. I was like, I can't text.
Because she said, I don't fully understand your point.
Yes. I was like, we can't even get along.
So you are this woman.
Well, I didn't write back to her because of your views on Delta. I won't be able to go out with you.
You're this woman, though, but without actually telling her why.
Absolutely. This is relatable. It's a crazy version of something everyone does every day.
Yeah.
The whole conversation about icks.
Okay.
That is icks.
That's your ick.
Yeah. I mean, the whole conversation about icks is like, you forced yourself to go out with someone. They do this one thing, and you know it's ridiculous, but why'd you have to do that? I think icks are so prevalent today because there's so many people right now being like, I'll just go on the date, go on the date. Then you get there and you go,
let's say you had met
they don't drink coffee.
Let's say you had met this person in person. Do you think this would have still ended the communication?
No. I think that's the difference.
Right.
That's
because the people on the apps feel more disposable.
And not just disposable, and they're words on a page. And you're coming in with, I don't date these type of people. I don't do this. When you're in person,
you're like, I got a good vibe, and that supersedes these specifics.
The order is different.
Yeah.
Right? The order is meet,
well, vibe trumps all, I think.
Trumps all.
Right?
Yes.
Like if you're just like, it's like on, there's few things that someone could say. I mean, maybe not few. There's not like, it's not as easy to turn someone off when you've already established a vibe.
When you meet in person, you don't even know what they look like as much as you do meeting on an app.
Right.
On an app, you're literally tooth and comb with the magnifying glass.
Right.
What's her butt look like? Like you're getting in there. In person, I met someone in person the other day. Sitting next to each other. I can't for the life of me. We had a great time.
But that's a good thing, right?
I can't remember what she looks like specifically.
That's a good thing.
You know what I mean? I agree.
Right,
It is a good thing, but it is so interesting, the difference. We have to acknowledge that.
Right.
The reason that like these dating apps are so difficult is you get in your own way.
Yeah, because you have too much information.
Way too much. You don't need that much information to go on a first date. This person, I need a phone call. Which, again, if you need a phone call, that's fine. if you don't want a phone call, it's also fine to go, listen, we're not the match. I totally understand your reason for a phone call. That's not something I'm looking at. Like if I was having a rat-tat-tat conversation on an app and they were like, and I was like, hey, I'm actually going to be out tonight. You want to come get a drink? And they're like, well, we got to do a phone call first. I would be like, I'm out. Okay. We're done.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not made for each other. And my side is right. Their side is right. We're both right.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But not a match.
But both of us are getting in our own way.
Yeah. I mean, if I was friends with this woman who wrote this text, I would be like, I don't feel bad for you that you're single.
Right. She's not allowed to complain.
I wouldn't want to hear it if I were.
I can understand how someone would look at me and go, the Delta thing, you can't complain about being alone.
Well, here's the thing. If you really wanted to be with someone badly enough, and maybe again, like maybe it's a good thing that you're like that because you kind of like could take it or leave it.
Right.
Like you're not in the position to be like settling for someone that you're turned off by. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like anything else. Like the more you want it, the more you're kind of willing to deal with.
Right. And, well, I guess this is back to the meeting in person thing. That's why you I think you're more likely to deal with in-person meetings. Like if
you're more likely to deal with random stuff that comes up if you already, again, establish the vibe.
Right. And I think the app, again, disposability, you're right.
Right.
The ability to like, okay, I'll just turn to like in a bar, you can't be talking to someone, they go, I don't fly Delta, and you go, all right, and then turn to someone else. The next woman.
Make the same joke.
Right. And see how that works on her. You know, it's I've said this a million times. Like, no one runs up to you in the bar and is like, you better be fluent in sarcasm, you bitch. And you're like, get out of here. You know, they start with, nice to meet you. Then they're sarcastic. And you're like, I don't know if I'm into this sarcasm.
Well, that's why, like, The Bachelor, they fall in love with so many people.
Right.
Because they get that in-person thing with, like, with many people. And it happens to be at the same time. But I can see it kind of makes sense why... I don't think it's weird that they're like don't know immediately which person they want. Like they're meeting all these people in person. They're all getting those vibes, which you could get with many people.
And they're being completely open right away in a way that you aren't on a first date. Like, so here's my trauma. And you're like, oh my God, we're connecting on this trauma.
Right. So quickly.
It's a first date. Who does that?
Love.
Yeah. I'm in love. Let's do some awkward sex.
Let's
you ready?
It. Okay.
UUP@Betches.com, UUP@Betches.com. I have an awkward sex story.
Okay.
Good start. In my freshman year of college, I started seeing this guy who lived in the same dorm as me. One day, we were hooking up in his room. Things got hot and heavy pretty fast, to the point where my shirt wasn't even fully off yet. He was on top, and the condom snapped. So quickly, he pulled out. He yelled, "Oh, fuck!" and cum started flying out of the broken condom all over me and my shirt. That makes the condom sound like a hose that's out of control.
Right.
Just, cum is all over here.
I guess he came at the same time that it broke. Because how else would it? That would be the only reason I could think of the like, of the like ejection.
Well, I guess it broke. He goes, "Oh fuck!" Pulls out. His dick turns into that hose.
Immediately
comes. And cum, no rhyme or reason.
Yes.
Cum goes everywhere.
Every which way.
Every which way to Saturday. Come there. Come up here. The ceiling.
All over.
That's why the Something About Mary joke works. With the cum in the hair.
Right.
Because we've all experienced the...
Have we?
Well, the idea that cum just like, where'd that one go?
Right. It shows up in various places.
Yes. Okay. So caught up on this cum conversation a lot. During that exact moment, we hear someone keying into the room and he screams, "Wait!" He flopped on top of me to cover the crime scene as his roommate opened the door. He's like taking a bullet for the president. It was too late. And the look on his roommate's face said he saw it all. He was in such shock at the chaos that it took him a second to even close the door and run for the hills. After we laid there laughing, and he texted his roommate saying sorry he didn't warn him that the coast is clear now. Although, come on back. Cum is gone. Although he offered me clean clothes, for some reason I insisted that I just needed some sweatpants since my dorm room was just upstairs. I pulled the pants as high up as possible to cover the jizz all over the front of my shirt and scurried my way upstairs. The roommate didn't return for hours. Sincerely, come and see. P.S. We are now married, and the roommate was a guest at our wedding.
Wow.
What a beautiful ending.
What a beautiful Our Story page.
Isn't that nice?
Just a guest? Not on the wedding party?
Yeah,
Okay.
not that close
I guess it got a
anymore.
little awkward, yeah.
What'd you call this one?
I had no names. What did you have?
Come and Go.
Okay.
Come and Go is also a convenience store gas station in Missouri.
Oh. Only you would know that.
Right. And the people of Missouri.
Yes.
Come in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
What's the commotion?
Commotion. There we go. It's a very punny day today.
Yeah, it's punny. Okay, this one's fun. This is my last one.
Let's hear it.
Walk of Stain.
Oh, that's good. That's the
You
winner.
like that? That's a winner.
Walk of Stain.
Do you
Love
have
it.
any red flag deal breaker? Come happens.
I mean, yeah. This happens. Oh, does he not lock the door? Is there no lock on the door?
No, he was keying in. You could hear the roommate.
Oh, to the
guest
all right,
of
it's
the
a
wedding.
freshman. It's a freshman dorm, so
Right.
that's tough.
I don't think I've ever had.
I had no
someone-
freshman roommate.
No.
No, I had a single.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you get that?
It was the all girls dorm. I got in late to the school.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's funny how life works. I saw a tweet the other day that was on this subject of like, you're probably your freshman year, you're like, fuck, I'm alone. I got my own room. I got no, I don't have a roommate. And now I'm like, your own room? That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. Now I
You
look
know?
back, I'm like, that was great. But at the time, I was like, oh, I don't have like a little buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Were you friends with anyone from your dorm floor?
Not really. I had one friend actually. One friend from the floor.
I always think less of that person.
What? Who had no friends?
This is going to be like the teacher conversation.
All right, let's hear it.
This is a hot take.
I always think less of that person.
I do.
What's the hot take? Of me?
No, none of you. You always meet that person senior year, and they'd be like, "Can you believe my best friends were on my dorm floor?" And I'm like, I can't believe you didn't try. To me, that's like, at what point?
You're saying if you have too many friends? Okay.
No. If your only friends were from your dorm floor,
Right.
all of college,
Right.
and
you
you're
never
like-
met anyone after the first week.
right?
All right.
You didn't. No attempts
So
at friendship.
would you
at
send that
all?
text for that?
What? Hey, I don't think we're a connection.
Ben,
We're
well,
gonna,
I'm looking for someone. Having friends outside of your own floor of your dorm is a big part of my personality, and
I could be turned on this one. I don't think less.
we should try just like a humorous experiment week with you, where you actually write out those texts to anyone you go on a date with that has a small thing that you kind of feel like could have been better.
You didn't have one other friend. 4 years. Just so happened that state put you in the right floor.
I mean,
Or
some people are not that friendly.
start talking to people.
Okay, and then come back to me.
Okay, let's
All right, let's do another email.
let's do one more. This one's kind of a short. I have a short answer to
Okay.
this one. I'm sure you might have some things to say, but I'll get into it. Let's do it.
J&J, I'm moving in with my boyfriend in a few weeks, and I'm feeling both excited and nervous. I'm happy to be spending more time together, and it feels great, and we're becoming more of a team by taking this big step. At the same time, because it feels like such a major event, I'm nervous about the transition going smoothly. For background, I'm 28 and he's 31. We've been together for about 2 years, and each of us live in our own apartments right now. I think I'm mainly nervous about how we can merge our routines and habits and all the logistics like chores, buying furniture, splitting expenses, etc. We were both pretty used to having our own spaces. I know both of you have lived with partners, and Jordana has moved a lot. Meg and I have this conversation every time.
I laughed at that line. And Jordana
it's
moves
a trope.
a lot.
So I'm hoping you can share a bit about your experiences and any advice you might have.
What do you think? Moving in with your partner. Both of us have done it.
I think it's all just about having a conversation. There's no right or wrong answer in terms of like buying furniture. How do you want to how do you want to go about I think it's a discussion. I don't think there are like rules for any of this stuff.
I always envied what you guys did with the credit card situation.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Okay. Well, that's a good tip. Yeah.
I think that was a good.
Yeah. Well, when we moved in together, we opened a credit card together, and
I think that immediately starts conversations that you would never have had you not gotten a credit card together. I am
Agreed.
a person who didn't do that.
Yeah.
And I think that is a commendable, great idea.
It was a good way to like get ahead of it. I had friends who had done that, and it seemed like it worked for them, so that's how I got that idea. And then I feel like once we did that, also another part of that is like you kind of become a team.
Right.
Like this is our team card.
Right. It brings a relationship closer together.
Yeah.
I think. I wrote down a couple things.
But again, you have to discuss that with someone. Be like, so
Right.
we're going to be, I assume we're going to be splitting the furniture. Why don't we get a card so that we don't have to like go into West Elm and ask them to split this couch on like a thing.
Right. And you don't want to get into I'll do the couch, you do the chair.
Right.
I don't think
annoying.
I've done that.
Because then you have to like keep a tab and know that's not hot.
It's not hot, and it's also not really doing it together.
Yeah.
I think it's like, well, I paid for,
Right. It doesn't feel like it's communal property.
No.
It's just like, this is my chair. This is your shit. you know?
Right. 2 bathrooms.
I mean, if you can afford that, that's the way to go.
That's not something I would.
Yeah.
The money, if on the diagram of where I would suggest money go towards, 2 bathrooms would be the.
I would agree. I mean, as someone who has moved several times, our first apartment shared a bathroom. A lot of fights about that bathroom. Since then, 2 bathrooms. There's nothing like having your own bathroom.
Here's some top line advice I would give.
Let's hear it.
Their habits aren't a personal attack.
Okay.
You're moving in with someone who has their own habits.
Well, yeah. Someone once gave me this advice too, along those lines of don't make your roommate problems your relationship problems.
I like that. Yeah.
Those are like 2 separate things.
Right.
Yeah.
And you and I, as fellow disgustings.
It's easy for us to say. Let's keep this as a...
Right. I don't know. Sometimes I felt like it was... And again, I'd have to remember this too. It's like, no, this person's coming in with their own shit too.
Yeah.
Like, the one thing I remember is like I eat at night, and I'd be like, and there's a shameful act to eating at night.
Okay.
And, I would, it's like, you're going to have to see that, like you're going to have to like watch someone do the things that they're not maybe proud of,
Yeah.
So,
Watch them in their disgusting element.
Right.
Yes.
The pig in the sty, so to speak. Get fucked up one night in the apartment together. That would be my other suggestion.
Just stay in the apartment.
Just stay in. We're gonna lock the doors, and we're gonna get fucked up. Turn up the music. Let's have a night like that. I would suggest that in the first week.
Okay.
Fun night.
Consummate the apartment.
Right. 2 people just partying alone.
Yeah.
Enjoy that night.
And I would say
I think that's a good idea.
Keep doing whatever you were doing before you moved in. So if you had your girls' nights or your own thing or your book club or whatever the hell you do, like I would just keep doing that because people, just because you move in doesn't mean you don't value alone time anymore. So not only keep doing those things for you, but keep doing those things for them because sometimes you need to get the fuck out.
Right. Get out of the way. Get out of here.
Everyone deserves like a night in their apartment by themselves.
Right. I agree with that. Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think of
your
other
life.
things. Yeah, and at the worst, you're gonna, I know you're, scared, but worst comes to worst, you'll move out.
Yeah,
you get your own apartment. It'll be a studio. The sink will, clog every now and again. There'll be beer trimmings on the
but you know
sink.
what? It's yours.
It's yours. There's nothing in the fridge. The lights don't work. The couch is right on top of the bed. The bed's never made.
Traveling
There's no
all the
food.
time anyway.
You're traveling all the time. The AC doesn't work really well.
Are you okay?
Worst comes to worst, that's what happens.
You have a very, very nice life.
I'm okay with my life.
But yeah, but I think the important thing is to get to a level, and sometimes it's not immediate. You get to a level with the person you're living with where you can just be like totally honest when you find something to be gross. And Mike and I are pretty like with each of us. I think we're very good at calling each other out. It's not personal.
What's the last thing he calls you out on?
My shoes. He's constantly yelling at me about my shoes being everywhere.
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 What's the last thing you called him out on?
He loaded the dishwasher incorrectly, the wrong way.
What's incorrectly?
He like runs it with like there's like it's like not even half full.
You need a full dishwasher.
I need a full dishwasher. I think it's like I'm very into like efficiency, and so it annoys me when he's like doing things not the way I like them done.
Sometimes a full dishwasher grosses me out.
I mean, that's why you run it.
I know, but I'm like, I can't get it going. I'm a big
You want it out of the way?
Nighttime, before bed, throw it on.
Fair. And then
That would be
sometimes if he takes out his contacts, he puts them on his nightstand. I don't like that.
That's fucking disgusting.
Right?
Does he reuse them?
No.
It's
he
just
like
little
forgets.
dummies?
He like if he forgets before he goes out to bed to like take them out, he'll just like put them on the side, and then sometimes I can like see them the next day. I'm like,
Well, if that's the grossest thing he does, he's really not a disgusting.
he's not as disgusting as me, that's for sure.
He was in Maine.
Yeah, he was on a bachelor party.
That was where the bachelor party was?
Yeah.
He was right near where I went to summer camp.
Oh, that's funny.
I saw on his Instagram story. I was like, I know that spot.
Maybe it was your camp. Who knows? I don't know if they were. He said they went to some random lake in Maine.
Yeah, Sebago.
Oh,
I think that's where they went, right?
yeah. Seems like you had a nice time.
It's beautiful. We ready to play some games?
Let's do it.
We got the paddles out here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Faux pas or nah?
Ready to play some games? Let's get into Faux Pas or Nah, presented by Faux Pas Can Cocktails. Every single Faux Pas can is based on a tried and true cocktail. Vodka soda, marg, tequila soda, and mule. You can't go wrong. And it goes without saying on this show that we're into keeping it real, which is why there's only real vodka or real Blanco tequila and no artificial flavors or gluten in these drinks. Now let's keep it real with some Faux Pas or Nah.
Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
A person uses big words to make their job sound cooler than what it is. Here's the example. Okay. Hey, J&J, feather. I found someone on a dating app that I think Jared is going to hate.
Get ready. Let me put on my hating shoes.
I mean, you've been wearing them this episode.
Have I been a hater?
No, I mean, like you just named like a few very specific things that would turn you off from a perfectly normal, nice person. We got the haterade out. We're ready to go.
Just don't, have more friends than your dorm floor. That's all I ask.
That's all you ask in a partner.
Right, that's all I ask.
I would love to see that discussed in like a couples therapy session.
If I had a tude, I'm sorry.
I was scrolling and I saw a profile that listed their job as inculcation specialist. Is that how you say it?
Inculcation?
Inculation? Inculation? No, it's spelled inculcation specialist.
Okay.
My brain autocorrected that to inoculation specialist, so I thought he worked with vaccines. It was late at night and paired with going to Johns Hopkins, it made sense to me at the time. Only when he referenced his students in the convo did I realize that inculcation means to teach and impress by frequent repetitions or admonitions. And he was actually a high school teacher. Love the pod.
God.
I will see you in DC. Oh, this person's so annoying.
They're right. I do hate them.
And not just because they're a teacher.
No. Inculcation specialist.
Yeah, like you're an asshole.
Well, it means you have severe issues with your insecurity.
Yeah.
Like severe.
Yeah.
If you can't, you're a high school teacher. Good for you.
Just
admirable
say it.
profession. Yeah. Just say, yeah.
Yeah.
But inculcate. And
it's like that girl that was on the that we had on stage. What was she? Procurement. She was in procurement.
She was in procurement. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
She
to
gets
this
things.
Day. Just get stuff. I don't. Yeah, I don't like this at all. It's a not just a faux pas. It's a nah for me. But I
agree because like it's reeks of insecurity.
Right, and you know what it does? It's actually putting them in a position where they make you have to ask them, what does this mean? Like it's a little bit like it's I think it's actually like they're fucking with you. Like it's manipulative.
You think they're trying to be funny?
If they're trying to be funny, they're trying to show that they're smarter than you. Because I would have to go, what the fuck does that mean? Now I'm immediately in this position where you're the teacher again. I'm the idiot. And now it's back to the insecurity thing. It's like, I have to show you how smart I am.
Right. Or maybe they're hoping that you don't even know that you feel embarrassed because you don't know what it is. So you don't even say anything and they get away with pretending that they're not a teacher.
Right. Which I don't understand. Same. Like if you weren't, teacher is just such a specific job that someone would be like, no to.
Right.
You know, that you're like, what are you getting
It's
out
so
of?
easy to explain.
Right.
Right.
So-
Okay. You want to read the next one?
Yeah, I'll do the next one. Your significant other changes their phone background from you to a celebrity crush.
Ooh.
I like this one. Long time, first time. If you could even fathom the number of times I've started a sentence with, my friends Jordana and Jared said, then you would be amazed. The submission is about myself.
Love it.
This is a great one. I've always been boy crazy and into emotional masturbation. Now I'm in the relationship I'll be in for the rest of my life. I have no doubts about that. I love my boyfriend. We're very happy. However, Pedro Pascal exists. I finished watching The Last of Us, and I was so caught up in hashtag Chilean Sea Bay. Is that a thing?
I guess that's what he's called.
Is he
Is he
Chilean?
Chilean? He must be.
Yeah.
That'd be a very weird nickname if he wasn't.
He just likes the food. Hashtag Chilean Sea Bay. Fever that I sought out a photo of Pedro and made it my phone background. Was it shirtless? No. Was it even remotely sexual other than showcasing a very sexy man? No.
This was the picture next to it?
I'm
We'll show
assuming.
this on the Instagram.
Yeah, we
Okay.
got to show this. But was I embarrassed about it? Yes. I'm a 28-year-old woman, and my days of owning posters of hotties at the Jonas Brothers are long gone. My boyfriend thought it was funny, but I've gotten mixed reactions from friends, laughing at it to saying, why isn't it a picture of insert significant other's name here? While giving me a disapproving look. And I'll admit that I changed it pretty quickly, though I keep it in the rotation when I need a little Pascal me up. This is a funny email. Yours, lots of fish in the sea, but I want the Chilean sea bay. What do you think of this? The picture.
The picture is sexual, I think.
Yeah, he is
He's
in a
doing
forest.
a smolder.
He is doing a smolder.
It's not like a wacky pic. Like he's trying to look hot.
Right. I said this, Betches posted this, but Pedro Pascal didn't exist.
Yeah.
And then he's all I ever saw. Like he went from
He like blew up. The definition of blew up.
right,
Yeah.
but at late in life, like,
Just like now, right?
Now,
Or
like-
was he in something else? He was in something else.
well, I said he's like a pigeon. You never see a baby pigeon. I never seen like a 20-year-old Pedro
Right.
Pascal. But then there's always these,
Well,
these
he
people that
was
want.
in, yeah.
An episode of 90210 is not, the equivalent of what he's doing today.
Right. You can still come out of nowhere if you were in an episode of 90210 10 years ago.
Right. There are less shows today, and he is in half of them.
Yeah.
He's Mandalorian, right? Mandalorian, Last of Us.
That's all I know him from is Last of Us.
Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes. Game of Thrones. He was in that, right? He was the prince or something.
I never watched Game of Thrones, but I mean, those are three major shows.
But Game of Thrones was like years ago.
Right. Well, I guess that's what that was the response some people gave. Were
Right.
like, Game of Thrones. I'm
When
like,
I saw him in Last of Us, I watched the entire thing. I had no idea he was in that. He was in Game of Thrones.
right. And you watched Game of
Yeah,
Thrones.
and I watched it
So
fairly religiously. This picture is sensual. If Mike had a picture of what is her name?
this is interesting. Yeah.
What is her name? I I'm trying to think of the name of his celebrity crush. Kate. She was in Serendipity.
Hudson?
No,
Upton?
no. Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale.
Kate Beckinsale has a celebrity crush. If he had a picture of her instead of me as his background, I would freak out.
Freak out.
I would be like, "That's fucked up." Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I get it. What's going on here? Is this phone background you?
Oh my God, this is a funny story. So my phone background was him, and then I kept like joking, not joking that his phone background was not me. And then we went after we got engaged. We went to like Zion National Park, and we took these. Someone took a picture of us on like the other side of the mountain, and I'm in it so tiny. Like unless you took the phone and you put it like right up to your face,
Yeah.
you would have no idea I was in it. And he was like, "Look, I put you in my phone."
Little tiny.
I was like, that is not the same. I wish I could find the picture. It is like literally us in a canyon.
Would you? There we are.
There you are. So cute. Everyone knows we're
Love
together.
you. Yeah. Would you rather? Okay, your husband comes up to you. Mike comes up to you and says, "I will wear a wedding ring or phone background."
Wedding ring.
Wedding ring.
Yes.
No question. Okay.
But like wedding ring or phone background of Kate Beckinsale?
Yeah. He wears the wedding ring And it's Kate Beckinsale.
So it's both. But then anyone who sees his phone is going to think that's his wife.
It's weird as an adult.
It's weird
to have a celebrity crush and not like she said she's 28. It is weird.
It's like having a poster of that person in your room.
She made fun of that. Yeah, she said the Jonas Brothers things and she made fun of it. But like, there is a point where it's like, I get the joke.
Right.
But so you would leave me for him?
Yeah, it's like a little weird. I think it's like unnecessary. Like, again, I think it's like men following the Instagram models or liking the pictures. It's like, you could be a fan of something without like making it, without being so blatant.
Right. And it is a little bit like, listen, it's fun to do like a self-deprecating joke. When you're around that couple where the one person like does that joke too loud.
Yeah.
You know, when they're like, oh, I'd fuck Kate Beckinsale.
It's like, that's enough.
Enough.
Yeah.
You've gone too far. Like, I never find it funny or comfortable.
Yeah.
When I'm around that couple who's like, but if it was Kate Beckinsale, I gotta go get my rocks off with that lady. You know, like I never thought that
I think
was
it's
funny.
a little cheesy. I would say inappropriate. I wouldn't want it, so it's a nah for me.
It's gonna go. It's cusping for me. Like I don't think I would be like. I hope I'm not that like what the fuck is going on with the phone back. I hope I would be able to play along.
I mean, it would. Yeah, they would have to. I mean, I guess there would have to be a lot of context for it.
Right. The friends asking is funny because they're going, "Is everything okay? What's going on?"
Yeah, I mean, it's a little. Well, if I would imagine it for you. Let's say their background was not just a celebrity, but it was like another. It was like a famous comedian.
That would. I mean,
like,
that's
kind of insulting.
That'd be
right?
insulting. Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
they're allowed to like other people. You know, it's like you shall not laugh.
I know, but like their favorite, like they're
right,
they're
no,
like with the comedian. This is their favorite comedian.
The phone background. The other thing. It's just that we deal with our phones more than most.
Right.
Anything else
it's like
in
you
our
might as well be
lives.
plastered to your forehead.
Right.
Picture.
Right. Yeah. It's a nah.
Okay. Nah.
Okay.
All right.
One last one.
I think we have two.
Oh, we got two.
All right. 3. Your date burps in your mouth mid makeout. And as a disgusting, I can see how this could happen. In my first year of university, I was making out with a guy I had met a couple weeks prior. Oh, thank you. For only the second or third time. Everything is going great until he lets out an involuntary burp right into my mouth as we're kissing. He just freezes, and so do I.
How big was the burp?
Lips still locked. I pull away laughing, and he looks horrified. After lots of apologizing and endless laughing and teasing from my end, we get back at it. It was a nah for me. Oh, I don't think she understands how the game works.
It wasn't a nah for me.
Oh, it wasn't a nah for me. Never mind, she does. It wasn't a nah for me. We've been together for 7 years, have a baby, and are getting married next year.
Congratulations.
Although I do bring it up semi-annually just to remind him how lucky he is. I didn't leave that day. LOL. Well, that sounds just as fun for him. Signed, made it to burp base. That's a funny send-off.
Burp base is great. The way he responded, like, it is funny that she brings it up every year. Lucky I didn't leave you. It's like, he didn't purposely burp in your face.
Right. It was an accident.
It was an accident.
Yeah.
Like, he laughed at it. He was mortified.
Yeah. I always say, if someone has enough shame, anything can be excused.
I agree with you. Like, this is like so much a faux pas.
Agreed.
That I'm like,
I would be fine with it.
Totally.
It would be funny.
It would be funny. They just have to acknowledge, like, if they were like, I didn't burp. I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
what?
then it would be enough.
Nah,
but
it's
since
enough.
they did, it's fine. All right. So now we're going to admit one of our own dating faux pas to each other.
So what is it? Stuff that we've done or stuff that when I have committed a faux pas?
Okay.
Okay. So
that you've committed.
I'm trying to think of what I've committed. I'm
Um,
trying to think of something recently because I did this the other night.
Okay.
On a date. I do the holiday tweets.
Yes.
So I tweet happy whatever
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the person.
Happy Memorial Day. Okay.
I needed to post them.
Okay.
You know,
You had them all.
I had them all ready, but I was
Okay.
like, I'm in the middle and we were meeting and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry to do this, but like I have to post these. And like we were watching the game and it was like
In person. Okay.
in person.
Yeah.
And they didn't mind, but I did wonder, is this like so douchey right now? Because I just had to get, it was 9:00 at night. I'm like, if I don't get these tweets up, and it is a little bit of work,
Yeah.
you know, but I was like, so the faux pas or not, they post on the internet during your date
Okay.
They post on Instagram during your date, I guess.
I think like I said, if you're ashamed, it's
fine.
okay.
Right.
This is your job. It's a work call.
That was their response, which I appreciate, but I was like,
Oh, how long were you sitting there refreshing and seeing how well it did?
No.
Okay.
It got posted, done.
Good. Yeah, also how long does it take to post an Instagram? Like,
well, it was 10. I got to choose which one.
Oh, you didn't make it yet. I thought you had already ready.
It wasn't like post. It was like I have to like crop these, and it was a 10-minute.
I would just have to be like, well, I can't wait for Valentine's Day. I'm so glad you're so dedicated to Instagram.
It's a good response. No, she was very nice about it, but it was. I definitely had this moment of like, man, I'm the guy that would be written in about right now. Like, oh, you fucking cropping.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of one for myself, a dating faux pas that I have done. Okay. I have a really weird story about a dating faux pas. So back when I just moved into my first apartment out of college, I had, how like you just take stuff from your parents' house.
Sure.
Because you don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
So I just grabbed like a few like what I thought were just like white towels from my mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was seeing this guy who was like who wound up staying over.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize until I gave him a towel is that it had my stepdad's name embroidered on it.
Okay.
At the time, my stepdad, and it happened to be the same name as his name.
Oh my God.
So that was an awkward one to explain.
What's going on? He holds it up.
We were like,
that's
it was
amazing.
like he was definitely not trying to date me. So I think it was maybe that was why.
That towel's for you.
Yes. So faux pas or not, they hand you a towel in their apartment and it has your name embroidered on it.
It is definitely just a faux pas. I mean, I'd be fine with
the explanation. I'm sure.
It's hilarious.
Right.
What a coincidence.
Very uncomfortable.
Right. So this means we're dating. Yeah.
We're already monogrammed. So
no,
I guess
it's just a faux pas. That is not
good. Great. The biggest faux pas you can make, not having faux pas stocked and ready to go for your next girls' night or date night in. I mean, I'm obsessed with the spicy mango. I think I had our last show, I had like 3 of them. I just like once you get going.
I had the vodka soda
vibe.
with the lemon and mint. I love it. Over ice. Game changer. It's
the perfect pool party drink. It's the perfect drink to bring to the beach. And it's
crushable.
And it looks great in pictures. Just saying.
Does.
If you care about how photogenic your drink is, you've got to make sure you pick some up.
Aesthetic vibes are high.
Exactly. Visit www.fauxpascocktails.com to find your favorite faux pas near you. That's FAUXPAS, and follow @DrinkFauxPas on Insta so you don't miss out on any of the tea. I mean tequila.
We solved dating again.
We did it. I'm so proud of us. We'll be back on Sunday for your Sunday special. Bye. The U Up podcast is produced by Sean Kilby, Maddie Paul, and Jorge Morales Pico. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico. Social media by Maddie Paul. Be sure to follow @u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.